Subhadra will be our main speaker. And we also have here Brahma and Sikhi Pichidari and Sikhi Niti, so the two Sikhis. Good Sikhi, bad Sikhi, you have to decide. Depends on the day of the week. And all of us will. And then after that, we'll have our Pushpanjali, and then the Guru Puja, and then Mahaprasada. So thank you all for coming. I don't see any new faces anymore. Okay.
So thank you all for being here tonight to help us observe this sacred ceremony or observance of Srila Prabhupada's passing from this world. I'll begin with an excerpt from Lilamrita, written by Swami Maharaj. November 14, 1977. That's the actual day that Prabhupada passed away. Swami Maharaj says, on November 14, 1977 at 7:30 p.m. in his room at the Krishna Balaram Mandir in Vrindavan, Srila Prabhupada gave his final instruction by leaving this mortal world and going back to God. His departure was exemplary because his whole life is exemplary. His departure marked the completion of a lifetime of pure devotional service to Krishna. A few days before the end, Srila Prabhupada had said he was instructing as far as he could. And his secretary had added, "You are the inspiration." "Yes," Srila Prabhupada had replied, "that I shall do until the last breathing." Prabhupada's last breathing was glorious, not because of any last-minute mystical demonstration, but because Srila Prabhupada remained in a perfect Krishna conscious like grandfather Bhishmadev, or like grandfather Bhishmadev. He remained completely collected and noble and grave, teaching until the end. He was preaching that life comes from life, not from matter. And he was showing that one should preach with every breath he has. The many devotees who crowded the large room bore witness that up to the very end, Prabhupada remained exactly the same. There was nothing suddenly incongruous with what he had previously shown and taught them. At the time of his departure, therefore, he was teaching how to die by always depending on Krishna. Prabhupada's passing away was peaceful. During the evening of November 14th, the Kaviraj asked him, "Is there anything you want?" And Prabhupada replied faintly, "Kuch icha nahi. I have no desire." His passing away was in the perfect situation in Vrindavan with devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So as Maharaj is pointing out, Srila Prabhupada taught his last lesson because the great devotees, they teach not by speaking so much, but by example. And Prabhupada always said, example is better than precept, meaning whatever you want to explain, whatever you want to say, your example speaks much louder. So devotees were watching him. There's a beautiful video that shows Prabhupada pretty much at the last moment. And devotees are standing around his bed. And one little boy is looking at Prabhupada. He couldn't see if Prabhupada had left. And devotees were all watching him because they didn't know that he had left, because he was so peaceful. That is a product or the benefit of a life of service in Krishna consciousness. There's a famous saying, bhajan kara, sadhana kara, mukti janme hoy. That means that whatever bhajan you do in life, whatever sadhana you do, 16 rounds, waking in the morning, it will be tested at the time of our death. So Prabhupada had to teach us that. His life was full of excitement and enthusiasm, spreading the movement. Even before he came to America, because I'm reading his letters from 1944 until he died on the boat in 1965. And Prabhupada's energy and vision is so powerful. And he expressed that vision even before Iskcon was conceived. Iskcon was not something that he thought of in India. It's something that happened in the USA. In India, he had the League of Devotees in Jhansi. And he had a vision. And we have the 7 purposes of Iskcon, but in that vision that he originally established was more like 12, 13, 14 principles that he wanted. Very specific. And he wrote to Gandhi, asking Gandhi to take up the preaching. He said, I will help you. You take the lead, I will help you. And he kept saying that over and over to different devotees, his god brothers, other leaders, even some who were not part of Gaudiya Math. He said, I will serve you. And even when Prabhupada came to America, he was trying to spiritually entice his god brothers to come and help him. I will serve you. You take the lead. Because that principle of humility is the first principle of knowledge. And Prabhupada taught us what real knowledge is in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, verses 8 through 12. The first principle of knowledge is, and this is a small test, what is the first principle of knowledge? If we don't know it, that means we're probably not doing it. It's humility. Very first principle. And that principle holds true even in your own lives. If you're a business person or a student, if you go to a situation with a very proud attitude, people don't want to deal with you too much. They might tolerate it. So Prabhupada demonstrated humility, not only on the big scale, but even on the small scale with his own disciples. He would call his disciples Prabhu. Brahmananda Prabhu. Garva Muni Prabhu. What do you think? That's another principle that Prabhupada always did. He always heard from devotees what their ideas and thoughts were. Some of them were not good ideas. And Prabhupada would lovingly guide them through it. He taught a principle. The principle is that be careful not to kill the spirit of enthusiastic service, which is voluntary. You have to analyze each one of those words or concepts. Be careful not to kill a devotee spirit. So Prabhupada never did that. If you had some problem or whatever, I was reading one letter today. It was very intense, this conversation about Swami Maharaj. Very intense. 70-something, 74, 75. And devotees were making a big case. And Prabhupada said, very kind and loving, but at the end he said, if he was wrong, okay, he's wrong. You don't excuse the wrong, but don't attack. Be careful not to kill the spirit of enthusiastic service, which is voluntary. You have to understand everything about this movement is basically voluntary. When devotees joined this movement, there was no monetary exchange because there was no money. Prabhupada came with practically no money, began the movement practically with no money, so he couldn't pay anybody. He couldn't pay the original editors, the original temple presidents, the original board members. He had nothing to offer them. He said, I had nothing. And even when he started Harinam, Tompkins Square Park, he always said, I had nothing. I didn't even have a madanga. Some of us, if we don't have all the paraphernalia, we don't even move. Do you have the right harmonium? Do you have the right madanga? Is it tuned up, this, that? Probably didn't even have a madanga. So somebody gave him half of a bongo set. Most of you don't know what a bongo is. That's from the hippie days. These 2 little Latin drums. Small and sort of big. So they gave Prabhupada half of it, not even the whole drum. And when you listen to the original Hare Krishna mantra, the original recording, that's that little drum. He didn't say, where's my madanga? No, I'm not going to chant that note. But in Atlanta, he did that. The Atlanta story. Sitting on that Vyasa-san, Prabhupada saying, Parama Karuna Pahundvi Jananitai Goda Chanda. Then he asked this question, did you record it? So my godbrother Haricharna said, yes, Prabhupada, we record. He said, play it back. So he played it back, and Prabhupada was playing madanga, but he played the old Atlanta madanga, kind of like this one. A little beat up and not much sound left in it, because we were such young brahmacharis, we just beat the drum till we couldn't do anything. Prabhupada did, you have a better drum? So in that case, he asked, and a beautiful drum came. But when he started, he didn't have a madanga. He didn't have prasadam to distribute, so he cut some fruit, some apples, gave a little apple. He didn't take any excuse because the pure devotees do not make excuses. We're full of excuses. Why we didn't chant our rounds this morning. Why we didn't go to the temple. Why we didn't read today. Why did we... So many excuses. But before the final lesson, there were many lessons that Prabhupada taught. One is don't make excuses for Krishna consciousness. Ahaituki apartiyata, yenatma supasidati. Devotional service is uninterrupted, unmotivated, if you want the self to be completely satisfied. So we wonder sometimes, why am I so unhappy? Why am I so disturbed? It's probably because we're not executing devotional service properly. Because in the beginning of the Nectar of Devotion, it says, pure devotional service removes all material miseries. Gone. Trigunya Vishaya Veda, Nishtrigunya Bavarjana. The Vedas mainly deal with the three modes of material nature. Rise above them. What is that? Ramanda, what is that verse? I can't think now. Anyway, rising above the modes of nature. Krishna consciousness is like that. Pure devotional service has no contamination. So when you come to the stage of pure devotional service, complete happiness. So we can look in the mirror and figure out, why am I unhappy? Why am I always worried? Because we're not focusing on devotional service. So at the time of our death, all of that focus will be checked by Krishna. He will see how surrendered was I during my life. Okay, but I have some reason why I'm not surrendered. And Krishna will say, but Prabhupada came and showed you how to do it. Why didn't you just follow him? Yeah, but I had some ideas. I had some theories. I had some interpretations of what Bhagavad Gita said. Can you imagine how foolish I would look if I would try to give you an interpretation of Bhagavad Gita apart from Prabhupada? What kind of disciple would I be? When I know that Prabhupada says in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, the first purport, one should study Bhagavad Gita scrutinizingly with the help of a devotee of Krishna, with no self-interpretation or interpretations. How is it that I can try to interpret what Prabhupada said? I can only try to repeat it. He said in one discussion, even if you only know one sentence, you take that and you preach. What is that one sentence? Krishna is God. Go tell everybody. Yare deke tare kara Krishna Upadesh. Amar agavan tare desh. You just take whatever you know. Isn't that what Prabhupada did? Yes or no? Yes. Yes or no? Yes. Did he not set the perfect example? Yes or no? Yes. And he put it down for all the world to see. He changed our lives. He changed history. On every page, his personal ecstasy. Prabhupada. If we want to be successful in Krishna consciousness, we really have to study the life of Srila Prabhupada. And then all the way to the last lesson, which is dying. Death is inevitable. Now the big question of mortality. As you get older, that question becomes very clear in your mind. Death becomes a constant companion following you around. And Srila Prabhupada explains that you should have a pessimistic view about death. Birth, death, disease, old age. Have a pessimistic view. But, Bhagavatam explains, as long as you have intelligence in life, you should try to live. But living, as the verse Sikmedi loves to say, living spread the holy name around. What is the use of living if we don't do that? Isn't that what Prabhupada did? Yes or no? Yes. See, half the people are asleep. Didn't Prabhupada take his whole life to spread the holy name around? Yes. Give him some credit. With a big yes, not just yeah, I guess that's what he did. Did he not give his life to spread the holy name? Yes. So what should we do? The same. The same. Even, and Prabhupada will be so happy, he is so happy, when he sees devotees chanting, sees devotees going out preaching. It's very hard for me today because my dear godbrother is not here, Charudeshna. It's hard to do this without Charudeshna. So Charudeshna was so dedicated to book distribution And like C.K. would tell you, we used to always look at the newsletter. And he would pick on me, who is this Bhagavad in Atlanta? Books. So Chardesha was always at the top of the list in book distribution. So he did 200 and something big books in one day. This is before Mahotsaha and all these 5,000 books. No one had ever done 200 books. And not even 100. 40 if you're lucky. So the newsletter always went to Prabhupada. He would always read it. And he saw Chardesha's name from Atlanta. He said, it is simply wonderful that Chardesha has distributed 200 big books in one day. So that devotee he's a saint from this temple. We have many saints that have come from this temple. We've passed on many, many saints, but he was one special devotee. So Srila Prabhupada gave us the map. He showed us what to do. Just like they talk about the paradigm. You have a paradigm shift. You think one way, and you run into so many hurdles and problems, and then you figure out a different way. You start looking at the world in a different way. One time, this Prabhupada was sitting on a park bench, and this man, I think it was a bus driver or something, he was talking to Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said to him, I have many temples, many devotees, but he had no one and no temple. But he had the vision. So he could lift this man up with his vision. That's what Sankirtan means. You lift people up with a higher vision, higher taste. Isn't that what Prabhupada did? Yes. Now you're getting it. Yes. You're getting it. Yes. He did it. He set the example. Mahajano Yena Vitasva. Follow in the footsteps. Don't try to imitate him. Who can imitate Prabhupada? Think about it. I say I'm a Prabhupada disciple, Siki Pichidari, Siki, Brahma. We're all disciples of Prabhupada. Do I think that I can do more than him? No. But he would want me to do as much as possible. He always called it your level best. You do your level best. And if you don't hit the main huge target, he used another example. Shoot for the rhinoceros. A rhinoceros is such an animal you practically can't kill it because it has this kind of shield on its body. If you can capture a rhinoceros, that's a big deal. But anything between that and the rhinoceros is still good. So he said, shoot for the big one. Prabhupada wanted to finish the Srimad Bhagavatam. Did he finish it? Yes or no? Yes. No. Chapter 13, 10th canto is the last chapter Prabhupada translated. And he was begging the devotees, take this headache away from me. You all manage this movement. Don't disturb me. I want to finish the Bhagavatam. And he actually wanted to finish many other Vedic literatures. But we didn't give him that space. Even in his last days, they wouldn't leave him alone. Prabhupada, what about this? Prabhupada, what about that? How should we do this? He's lying there, trying to think of Krishna, go back to Godhead, and we're troubling him. He taught us how to lead and how to manage and how to do everything. We just have to follow. So I highly recommend you study the life of Srila Prabhupada. The Leelamrita is a good place. If you haven't read it, I'm going to chase you around till you read it. Because if you don't study Prabhupada's life, you won't understand. I could be doing something or saying something totally wrong. But if you don't know Prabhupada's life, you say, oh, Bhagavatam, wow, that was great what you said. But you have to know if what I'm saying is correct. Yes or no? Yes. Yes. But you won't know if you don't read Prabhupada's books. He was insistent that you read my books. So one time he asked the devotees about Sankirtan. What are you saying on Sankirtan? Oh, Prabhupada, we say yoga, this, that. He said, you don't read my books? Don't you know what's in the book? Go tell it. Like in the Christians, they say, go tell it on the mountain. So go tell it. Tell what? Whatever you read. My Sankirtan training was Bhagavatam class, Sankirtan. Whatever you heard in the class, you explain that on Sankirtan. I never learned all the kind of tricks. Just whatever the class was about. And then I'd look at the headlines of the newspaper, then I would connect it to that. And I said, you saw what was in the newspaper today about this, that, that? In the Vedas it says this, this, and that. Prabhupada did the same thing. I'm not making it up. You listen to some of his lectures. He said, I read in one book today. What is that book? The Gospel of Jesus Christ. What's it called? Aquarian Gospel. He was reading, he read that. Many things he read, and he would connect it to Krishna. So his lessons from beginning to end. So I just want to share one more thought. Since I've been thinking about this day, what's been in my mind is the first time I saw Prabhupada and the last time I saw him. The first time I saw him was Chicago. I believe it was July, 1974. It had to be July, I think it was July 3rd, because Rath Yatra was the 4th, and then the initiation was on the 5th. So I got initiated on July 5th. So we met him at Sikh famous place, O'Hare Krishna Airport, O'Hare. So I just remembered, I'm not that tall, but I could see the top of Prabhupada's head. That's how small he was. But his presence commanded respect from everybody in that airport. The police, the whatever ticket people, they all were like, who is this man? And everyone's jumping and following. So, and actually, there's a movie of that event. The first time I saw Prabhupada walking behind him, you know me, I got to get close to my guru. So I'm right behind him, looking at his head. But thinking in my mind, if anyone touches him, they're going to get it from this little brother from the hood. Don't you touch my guru. So because of at that time, I don't have much physical stuff now, but I had a little something. They made me Prabhupada's guard in Chicago. I guarded his door. And I was like, Jai Vijay, don't you touch my guru. So the first time I saw him, and then the last time I saw him, after seeing him every single day for a month and a half in India, Mayapur, Delhi, Modinagar, Aligarh, Vrindavan. Every day. Some of those days, I don't know what Prabhupada was talking about because he spoke in Hindi. Modinagar, Aligarh, Hindi. And then Aligarh, again, protecting Prabhupada when he was coming through the crowd and pushing people back, touch my guru. And then I was allowed to go on the stage and fan him for the whole lecture. I wouldn't give anyone else a chance. And then we went to Vrindavan. And every day we saw Prabhupada in Vrindavan, Krishna Balaram Temple. There's a really nice exchange between Prabhupada and one of his new disciples. He said, what are the 4 rules? What are the 4 rules? Who knows? 4 rules? No meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication. This boy was so fired up, I think he was from Germany. No meat eating, no gambling. What's the other one? No intoxication, and no sex. He was like so proud. Probably no sex? Not no sex, no illicit sex. So see, and then Prabhupada did something so amazing. He said that you worship the deity on the altar. Everyone said, yeah, we worship the deity. And Prabhupada said, but you don't understand Krishna is also the floor. So you don't clean it nicely. You take care of the deity, but you don't clean the floor because you don't realize here is Krishna. Krishna's everywhere. He's in every space between us, between you and me. Krishna. Billions of Krishnas in the form of the super soul. And we forget every day. We forget it, but Prabhupada never forgot. So it says, Swami Maharaj is saying, peacefully he left this world, thinking of Krishna. You want something, Swamiji? I don't want anything. He told the devotees, stop it, no more medicine, no more Kaviraj, Harinam, and Sancharanamrita. That's it. Harinam, and very soft Harinam. We chanted in this room 24 hours, just chanting. So again, my last time seeing him was in Vrindavan, 1976. I was not fortunate to go there when he was leaving, because most of the devotees in the world didn't know we could go there. We had no idea we could go there. Prabhupada actually wanted all his disciples to come and be with him. But they were thinking, who's going to manage the temple? How are we going to raise money? Whatever. But he wanted us, because he knew if we saw that last lesson, then we would understand. So thankfully, Swami Maharaj and different devotees saw him, and they could testify that Prabhupada was peaceful. Meaning, that's the lesson. What is that verse in Bhagavad Gita? Yam yam vapi, smaram bhagwan, tajanti. Whatever state of mind you have at the time of death, that's what you're going to get. But don't think, well, let me put it in two ways. Don't think that all of a sudden it's going to come, but it can all of a sudden come. If you serve your whole life. Prabhupada said this in Mayapur, 76. A devotee asked him, Srila Prabhupada, at the time of death, it'll be so difficult, get choked up in mucus and flint, all these things. How will you remember Krishna? And Prabhupada said, you serve Krishna your whole life, he will force himself into your mind. He will be there for you. I can testify that Charadeshta, that's exactly what happened. The body was gone. I massaged him every day, nothing but bones, just bones. But he was always thinking of Prabhupada and Krishna. And when he left this world, what a blessing. A life well served. That's what we should do. So, at the end, Krishna should be able to say, this one has done me some service. This one has done me some service. This one has done me some service. Prabhupada has done me some service. Let my Prabhupada come back. I want my Prabhupada back. I loaned him to all of you for some time. I want him back. And then Prabhupada in one prayer, this prayer was before, the movement even started. He said, I long to frolic with you in the cowherd pastures. That's in his song. I long to, frolic means have fun, like cowherd boys dancing and playing. I long to be with you doing that. So Swami Maharaj says, it appears to be an indication of Prabhupada being a cowherd boy. I can't say definitely, but he was longing for that. So that leaving this world, that example, keep it in your heart. Sikamiti always shows that video, but I can barely watch it when they put Prabhupada in the Samadhi. I cannot see it. I saw a few glimpses today. I couldn't see it. They took him on Parikrama in Vrindavan, and just imagine how fortunate those devotees were to be with him. So now we have Prabhupada in a form that he taught us, which is Vani. Who knows what Vani is? Why is everybody so shy? See, Prabhupada didn't like this shy. Speak up.
His words.
Yes. Teachings. His teachings. I'm his disciple, he's a disciple, we're the only ones that have access to Prabhupada's teachings, right?
No.
Thank you. All of you have access to Prabhupada's teachings. You should have all of his books in your home. If you don't have them, during the marathon, Sikamiti will make sure. So you get the biggest score in the marathon. So that's the last thing I want to say. That on the night that we sat in this room, when we got the news that Prabhupada passed away, we sat here in silence, looking at each other. Because we didn't know what to think. We heard that Prabhupada had passed. We were coming back from the Atlanta airport, Sankirtan. In the Sankirtan van, Veda Guya Prabhu informed us that Prabhupada had passed. And we just like, life was taken out. So we sat here for half an hour, didn't know what to do. So there was an international realization by all the devotees, Chicago, Atlanta, LA, Germany, all over the world. What should we do? Well, Prabhupada would be pleased if we do Sankirtan. So that year we had the biggest Sankirtan marathon, period. So I say that if we take this day, recommit ourselves to Srila Prabhupada by reading his books, follow his example of preaching. He preached it everywhere. He preached on a boat. He sold books to the captain of the ship. And he put books in the bookstores. He did everything that we try to do. So I would say, to honor Srila Prabhupada from this day, between now and the end of the year, each one of us should make a plan, like they say today, make a plan to vote. Pick up some friends, take them to the polling place. I say make a plan to distribute books. Make a plan. Talk to us, we'll figure it out. Everyone should think that's what pleases Prabhupada the most. Well, not absolutely the most. He said that you love Krishna. But we know that he loved book distribution. So thank you all very much. please, please, please remember Srila Prabhupada, follow his example, and then in that way, our lives will be successful. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vicharani Nevasesha Sunyavadi Desatarani. I think everybody here, making reference to the Prabhupada disciples, were out on books on that particular day. You're in the temple. Okay, so Gaura Mandala Bhumi is a devotee who translated all the books into Indonesia. But before that, he was in Australia. We were together. And I saw him walking down the street with a telegram. That was before the cell phone. There was a piece of paper. And then, even before he got to me, I knew, because at that time, at least every 3 or 4 months, we'd have to start doing 24-hour kirtan in the temple. And the temple I was in, there was 6 devotees. And we did 24-hour kirtan, so it was pretty tough. And so I would go out and do books every day, and whatever I made, which was basically around $100, that's what the temple lived on. That's all we had. Yeah, it was about 600. Really? So we read the books, we chanted, we went to the program every day. We got up and went to Mangalati every day without fail. We went to bed at 9:30, earlier than that sometimes. We kept it regulation. So Baba Bhadra was making a point about being unhappy, that you can maintain a spiritual happiness by maintaining a regulation. In fact, Prabhupada said that one time, sickness is really due not so much to what you eat, but your regulation. That's the key. Be regulated, because your body's a machine. You're not this body, it's a machine. So you have to be regulated. So you go to bed at a certain time, you get up, you eat at a certain time. You know, because that's the best time to eat. That's the best time to sleep. And if you don't do these things, and you just eat when you feel like it, and sleep when you feel like it, and watch TV all that time, then, you know, your mind will go up and down like a yo-yo, you know, sukha dukkha. So it's very important that you regulate your life and chant your rounds. And if you don't chant, and you stop chanting, you will lose the taste. And if you have no ruchi, then you'll slowly but surely fall into Maya. And then you'll be identifying with the body. So it's very important that everyone chants, because there is nothing else in Krishna consciousness other than the holy name that will save you. You can have all the books stacked up, you can have all the devotees, all the tilak, everything, but if you don't chant, you ain't going anywhere. You're like spinning your wheels. You actually have to chant every day whether you like it or not. And sometimes you don't like to chant. You know, it's like Prabhupada says, like a medicine. If you don't take the medicine, the doctor prescribes a medicine, you don't take it, then what's going to happen? You know, you think you're going to cure the disease just mentally. You know, you have to chant. And if you chant, then you slowly but surely, gently become free from your mind. Even in the beginning, when you start chanting, you can experience a difference between your consciousness and your mind. I don't think anyone in this room who chants can say they didn't experience that. You're going to experience the difference between your mind and your consciousness. and Balabaja made a reference about the 4 regulative principles. So illicit sex destroys what quality? Does anyone in here know? Cleanliness. Intoxication destroys what? Discipline. Meat eating destroys compassion. Right? And gambling destroys truthfulness. But usually when I'm preaching to people, I don't say it's just a lotto ticket. What it really is speculation. It's about speculating. And if you analyze your life and you can make a notation, how many times you speculate in one day, I guarantee you, even in this room, that people speculate more than 100 times a day. And that's being conservative. It's probably 1,000 times. So the speculation is your mind just running away, you know. And you're saying, yes, 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 yes. So that destroys truthfulness. Because you're speculating, and then you're saying this is how it is, and this is how it is. And if you don't give a reference to scripture, then what is it? It has no value. It's very important. The basis of the 4 regulative principles and the chanting 16 rounds is the foundation, the base. Without that, your Krishna consciousness is just spinning in the water, not going anywhere. It's really critical. And even if you're struggling with it, just keep struggling. Keep struggling, because that struggling is a health. It's a healthy thing. Even if you hate it in the end, just keep doing it. It's very important. And try to eat prasadam every day. You know, I mean, a lot of people, and back in the day in the 70s, sometimes we would say, we'd get an item and someone would give us something, and we'd say, Shri Vishnu 3 times. And then it was offered. Even sometimes, when I remember one story, the devotee said, we found a whole big orchard. And he says, well, let me offer the whole orchard. You know, so there's actually a bona fide method for offering. You know, there's an actual prayer, and you say the prayer, whether you like it or you don't like it, you do it, you offer every day. It's very important. So, anything else I should say? Hare Krishna.
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. What time is it right now in India? 7 in the morning?
5.
It's 12 hours ahead, right?
6:05. Yeah, 6
More or less 12 hours ahead.
10 and a half.
10 and a half hours. So, I heard that Srila Prabhupada left. I was with Vaishnavananda out on Sankirtan. We call it Sankirtan because at that time, some devotees were doing books, especially at the airport, and other devotees were just doing fundraising type activities. And that particular year, 1977, the big new thing that we were doing was carved candles. You have no idea what that is, because it was just a fad. It came, it went, just like everything else in the material world, but at that time it was big. And one temple started doing it. They had heard about it from some other group or seen it somewhere in a mall, and they said, this is big, we can do this. We make lots of Lakshmi, you support the temple, and once one temple starts doing it, the other temples find out about it, and they learn about it too. They go to that temple and they found out about it. And so here in Atlanta, we did the same thing. And so that particular day, in that particular block of time, 1977 in the fall, believe it or not, we actually set up to do shows in shopping malls. Devotees at that point were even going into shopping malls and setting up a little booth and carving candles, just like the regular artisans or the karmis were doing. And we were selling these candles and making money for Krishna. But before that particular point, we were just driving up and down Buford Highway and stopping in any store that was there or any gas station, and we would just run in with a carved candle and say, "Here, we make these, please buy it." And we've been doing that all afternoon. And we came back to the temple, and the shown devotee, not initiated, comes out that back door. We just pull up in behind the temple. And here's Vaishnava, and I had a long day out on the trail there. And this devotee says, "Prabhupada's left." So actually, Prabhupada had left, and that was about 7 in the evening. We got back to the temple about 6 or 7 in the evening. So Srila Prabhupada left about 10 or 12 hours earlier in the day. The news got out to the world. There was no instantaneous communication. It took a little time, phone calls, telegrams, things like this going on, but the word got out fairly quickly. And so it just hit like a ton of bricks, like Balabuddha said. Just, the devotees gathered in the temple room and started chanting. Personally, what I did before I came to the temple room, I took a moment to just privately kind of evaluate the news and evaluate the situation, and turn to Krishna. And you asked the question, well, what happens now? What happens next? And very almost instantly, the answer came, we just keep doing what Srila taught us, and we just keep it going. And so I just came to the temple room, and we chanted, and we just continued on. We continued distributing books. We developed the temple. Okay, parenthesis. This time of year, 50 years ago, is when Gornitai moved from a location in downtown in the heart of the happening hippie area, which was sort of like starting to dissolve and dissipate anyway. And they moved to this location. It was approximately November, December of 1974. And Srila Prabhupada visited a couple of months later at the end of February, beginning of March of 1975. That is the period that we are in now, the 50th anniversary of Sri Sri Gornitai coming into their home here. End of parenthesis. So we chanted, we distributed books, things went on, devotees came, devotees left, more devotees came, new devotees came. We could see that actually, yeah, this is a living, Srila Prabhupada's teachings are alive, they have power. They will convince people to become devotees. There is no need to, it's not just you, okay, that was one thing I did in my life and now it's over and I'm going to do something else. No, it was a lifetime. We became Srila Prabhupada's servants in this lifetime and carried it on to today. Sikhi Mahidi ki jai.
Praise from Prabhu ki. So I'll just speak the mood that the devotees have. We can see nowadays, few of us have their spiritual masters have passed away. So they get a little taste of this. Of course, when Prabhupada left me, it was only Prabhupada. And it was, I don't know why. I guess I was 21, 22 at the time, so I just thought, there's no way he's going to leave. He hasn't finished the Bhagavatam. Right? And he can do whatever he wants. Krishna can do what he wants. Why would Krishna take him now and the Bhagavatam's not finished? So this is just a test to make us, step it up, because every time that happened, everything would elevate more and more and more. So, of course, now everything's instant, like he mentioned with social media, no instant in those days. If you want to see a picture of Prabhupada, he's in Vrindavan, someone takes a picture, you gotta develop it, they make maybe one copy, you gotta smell it. Now you got how many temples? You gotta make copies of those, mail those, it's a long process to get information. So, we've heard so many things, we didn't really see. I think if we had saw what he was like, everybody would have. I know my mother, I had asked her, I said, I want some money to go to India. She said, okay, I'll give you. And I asked for permission. I said, no, just stay, Prabhupada. If you stay, keep doing your service, and that way Krishna, we're going to force Krishna to keep Prabhupada here. He's only taking him because we're not doing enough. So we have to show Krishna. We'll show him, and then he won't take him. So, therefore, it was a shock when that word came out. It was just, because, like I say, you know who Krishna is, but after seeing Prabhupada, seeing the reciprocation, that's really our relationship, wasn't it? At least that was the motivation. Every year I wait, I want to see Prabhupada again. And I want to do something in such a way that, like when Chardesh and Prabhupada would say, thank you very much, Sikhi. So I thought, I got to do that. Just waiting. But there's so many devotees doing such wonderful things. How can you do something more wonderful? But I really felt that. I thought, just give me some time. I'm going to get there. And I thought, I'm going to become Prabhupada's servant. I'm going to kick out when I saw it. And take his servant so I can be with Prabhupada every day. And after reading his book, I want to make 5 minutes. I couldn't serve that. No way. I could serve them. Those devotees were. Krishna put me right where I was supposed to be. On the intersection, so I'm back. That was my service. 20 years old, you can run up and down the street. Yeah. So that anyway, that shock is still there actually. But one thing, it has to be done because of the example I used to use a lot. When you're learning to ride a bicycle, the father's holding the bicycle, right? And the wife says, okay, I think you got to let it go. When it usually happens, you fall down. But then get up, try again. And eventually, when he lets it go, you got it. And as time goes on, you get so expert, you can ride backwards, you can ride on one wheel, right? You can do all those things once you catch it. So at a certain point, Krishna has to take the guru away. So you can stand up on your own 2 feet. You have to. So in that mood, we see it as a progression in Krishna consciousness. If he's just there, we go, Jai Prabhupada, it was easy, right? Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Prabhupada's coming, everything will be fixed. We ain't got to worry about it. Just like you never grow up. So the movement had to go through growing pains. And now it's maturing and growing still. So. Anyway, so this day is a midday of mixed emotions, of course. And of course, most of all, we want to thank Prabhupada. Well, Prabhupada, where would we all be, right? Yeah. I know it's a complete illusion. I think I'd be dead even. I wouldn't be alive. My brother would give me when he died. I would die with him, for sure, because we were all risky behavior like way we live. So. But he's given us a purpose that will keep you motivated. Not so much don't just try to be a devotee because I want to be happy. Be a devotee because I want to make Prabhupada happy. You make that your purpose. And then that's where then nothing's difficult. Why do I chant my japa? Because it'll please Prabhupada. It ain't the best job, okay, but I just keep doing it because I know it makes Prabhupada happy. You keep cultivating that. And then the spontaneity comes, and all these other things will come. So it becomes selfless and Krishna conscious. So anyway, we'll stop here. And we have Pushpanjali, Guru Puja, and then we'll have Jaya Guru Vedanta. So thank you all for coming. Tirabhava ki jai. So you can stand up, we'll get some flowers stand up. You want to do the art? Well, I'll just do it. Akitana Bhavarevyo, Vaishnavevyo Namo Namo Mahavarindaya, Krishna Prema Padaite, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya, Namne Gurtashe Namaha, Panchatatvakam Krishnam, Bhakta Rupa Sarupakam, Bhakta-avatara Bhaktakyam, Nanami Bhakti Shaktikam, Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu, Vatsavashapadam Bojo, Vada Madanamo, Vikta Vindane Kapparumata, Kapta Kanchana Gorange, Rame Vrindavaneshware, Vishwavana Suti Devi, Hanamani Hari Priye, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivastava Bhaktivinoda,
Divine grace, A.C.Bhakti, vedanta Swami Tirabhava, Jaya Tirabhava, Vishnu Paramamsa Parivraja Vijaya Sutta Sushima, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, Ananda Guru Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Namacharya Haridas Thakur, Prem Se Ho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Vedagara Shivasati Gaura, Shri Sri Radha Krishna Guru Vinasya Guru Bhagavat Vrindavan Dham ki, Dhauli Dham ki, Ayur Dham ki.